Welcome to Next Shift, the post-game show. The Montreal Canadiens played the Los Angeles Kings tonight. They lost the game 4-1. The last goal was scored in an empty net. Another rough outing for Montreal. They just weren't good tonight. They started off the first 5 minutes getting hemmed in their own end, and it went backwards from there. Montembeault did play the first 10 minutes or so of the first period very well and kept them in it. In fact, Montreal got the first goal, a nice goal by Barron, with the first line playing pretty well in the first period. And you might have an Armia that was okay in the first period. And then pretty much after that, it was a weak, in my opinion, goal that was let in by Montembeault to tie the game towards the right after that goal scored by Barron. And then we went into the second period, and Montreal went back to their lack of effort, you can call it, in the second period. I can't think of anyone that I thought played a great game. I felt like, first of all, Matheson didn't come back out in the second period, so he got injured, upper body. We'll find out how serious it is. Hudson played over 30 minutes. He was good, but I feel like he was being cautious at times, which, he didn't want to have another -4. I think he ended up -1. I'll have to look at the stats. I haven't looked at the stats. And the -1 was the empty netter. So he had an overall okay game, and Gouli had an okay game. We only had 5 defensemen for half the game, for 2/3 of the game. I thought Montembeault, at least 2 of the goals were savable. Now he made some stops, the penalty shot, a couple other things. So you can't fault Montembeault, but he didn't come up big when they needed him to. The first line kind of disappeared after the second period, or in the second period. Had a couple of opportunities in the third. Armia disappeared after the first period. Josh Anderson had a couple of shifts in the first, and I never saw him again. Gallagher looked like he worked okay. Evans as well. There was just too much, being stuck in their own end, not finding ways to get the puck out. It was just a very frustrating game. This is on a lot of different people, right? First of all, the first line played well the first period, kind of disappeared the second and third. The power play, finally got a chance to see Lane Hudson on power play 1. Maybe they haven't practiced it before. It looked like they didn't practice it before. It didn't look very good. So check that one off, that we see it and it's not that good. Obviously, losing a Matheson, he takes 25 plus minutes a game, and replacing him with 5 defensemen that don't get that much ice time, although now it looks like Hudson's going to get that much time. Just a really, really overall frustrating game. Their penalty kill was okay, I guess. Their power play was terrible. Their defensive zone was terrible. I think they gave up. There was just so many times that they just didn't get the puck in, or they made some minor mistakes at the blue line. They were losing battles. They didn't, the Los Angeles kept them outside. When they had their chances, they didn't capitalize. Just an all, and then you look at Martin St. Louis, he's been given a pass for a long time, but this team, if they want to be in the mix, let's see, they lost the game 6. What was it again? 6-3 on Monday. I think it was 6-3. I know one was empty netter, so it wasn't that bad, I guess. And what does he do? He has Struble that's come back, and he decides to keep the same lineup. Roll them back right out there. They played so great. They didn't play well in Pittsburgh. And it showed this team wasn't ready. And they played against Los Angeles Kings, who played last night. When the last time Montreal played last night, the night before, they lost 6-4 to Boston. They gave up 6 goals. Los Angeles gave up 1. This is not a good Los Angeles team. They're missing Drew Doughty. They don't look the same as they did in years past without Drew Doughty. Just a very, very overall disappointing game. So my take is simple. My take is that if you don't get elite goaltending from Montembeault, which it wasn't elite, if he's just average, which, probably is where he's at, and all you fans that think Primo would have been worse, I don't know. I mean, Primo might have given up the goals that Montembeault stopped, but the ones he gave up, he might have stopped, to be honest. You never know. Like, these were not difficult saves from the point. All three were from the point. And, one was deflected, but it was deflected early on. I know it was a bouncing puck. Maybe that one was tougher. The other two, I mean, he has to be bigger. He was on his knees, and it wasn't even close to his shoulders, and it still hit the middle of the net. Like, there was a lot of room above him. So, just not a fan of Montembeault tonight. I think last game the shots were better, most of them, and so many of the goals were not his fault. Maybe one of Eller's goals probably could have been stopped more reasonably, but again, the timing of these goals, Canadians score minutes later, a minute or so later, he gives up a goal from the point, non-screened. I mean, that's a backbreaker for a team that's trying to win a game and not playing that well. And then the second goal was, kind of again, the Canadiens don't deserve to win this game, but again, Montembeault didn't help. Let's put it that way. It was a team effort of losing. Obviously, I've been saying all along, I think the Canadiens are not a playoff team, but they should be better. This reminded me of 2 years ago, this game. So if this is the kind of, and it wasn't the mistakes as much as the effort. In the first period, Armia, Slafkovsky, Suzuki, they were kind of buzzing when they were on, at least a couple of shifts. Second and third, they were invisible. Josh Anderson, invisible. Dvorak, Kapanen, somewhat invisible. Heineman, these guys are young players. They should be bringing it. I mean, I thought Caulfield worked hard. I thought Evans worked hard. There's a couple of players, obviously Hudson, and those guys can make mistakes, but it's not the kind of answer we're looking for. So that's my take for tonight. It was a rough one. The Montreal Canadiens lost. It was a bad loss. On to the next one on Saturday. That's it for me. I'm not going to say Suzuki doesn't suck because he's not playing very well. So I'll leave it at this was next shift, post-game show. You all have a good night. Thanks.